Inconceivable.
That's very good answer.
He didn't fall? Inconceivable. You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
All right, what a great way to start. That is an awesome, awesome movie.
Are you on mute?
Nope.
Okay, that is a great movie. That's The Princess Bride. I think most people would probably know that.
Yes. If you have not seen The Princess Bride,
That
regardless
is simply
of age,
inconceivable.
yes. How come you keep using that word?
It does
I do
not.
not think it means what you think it means. Really great movie.
Yeah.
So go watch it over this. It's probably on Netflix or Amazon or Hulu or something. Or,
The little boy's kind of in quarantine almost during
Is
the
he?
movie. So
Oh, yeah.
He's sick, so we
Yes.
can kind of relate to that.
Yes.
He's stuck at home. The grandfather's reading him stories.
Yes.
Columbo, Peter
Yes.
Falk,
yeah, and the Wonder Years, Fred.
Kevin Arnold.
Yeah.
Fred
what's-
Savage.
Fred Savage.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay,
Winnie's
so-
boyfriend.
That's right. So another old throwback TV show, but watch Princess Bride. But the whole premise of that phrase and of our talk today is going to be on words that are
Phrases.
I'm sorry.
At Thanksgiving, we did words.
Yeah, the
And-
one that was the podcast that we just blew out of the water with people who watched.
No.
Yeah.
No,
we got
that's
like 3
inconceivable.
views.
Yeah. So go back and watch it. I think it's good.
Yeah, in fact, I think you should pause this one and go back and watch the last one because this one kind of almost builds on that one a little bit.
Wait till real late at night and text Doug and say, "Good job, Doug. I finally heard it." Like after 11.
After 11, I'll make sure to respond after I forward it to Lance.
Yeah, and so we did some of our words that are kind of misused and mangled and messed up, and then we did some of our favorite biblical words.
Yeah.
And so now we're doing phrases.
Yes.
And there's some phrases that people just hate,
Yes.
right? So right now, I think a phrase people are sick of is the new normal.
Yeah.
I think we hate that one.
Yeah. Phrases like Lance just showed up. That just I can't. Ugh.
I think like some other phrases that a lot of us are tired of are like, well, at the end of the day, and I said that one a lot.
Yeah.
Let's run it up the flagpole. It's not a phrase, it's just a word that I know we have one elder at least that hates this word, synergy.
Yes.
It gets overused in business.
Yes.
You got any phrases that you're just tired of?
I can think of phrases, but more I think of words. Most of them words that come out of your mouth, like asynchronistic or something. I don't know. Words that I can't pronounce or spell.
Okay, so I am going to ambush you.
Oh.
I have a list
song, second
of
verse.
slang words and phrases that allegedly the youth,
The Utes.
the two youths, that movie's from like the 90s, nobody cares, that they allegedly use. And we will be keeping score.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, and so this is from familyeducation.com. So,
Okay.
so they really have their pulse on the youth.
Yes.
60-year-olds that run that site, they know. So what does it mean if a youth says something is extra?
If a youth says something is extra, I think they mean like it's like really, really cool.
No, that's an X.
Okay, did you tell me? Are you going to tell me what it means?
Yeah.
Okay.
It means something is over the top. So you might say, she is so extra.
She's so
She
cool.
talks about Karen nonstop.
Oh,
It means
okay.
like too much.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. How about finsta?
I'm fenced to do this. I'm fixing to. I'm about to. I'm fencing to do this.
No.
Oh, come on.
not even
That's got to be
close.
close. Am I close?
If you have a finsta, it's a secret social media account. That's what a
Far
finsta
off
is.
from that.
This account is hidden from your parents.
Oh,
If you
okay.
have a finsta, it's like maybe adults, like the version of that is maybe like a burner phone.
Yeah.
It's like a burner account that's like on the DL.
Okay, so like that, my Facebook account, if my mom doesn't know about it, it's a Finsta account.
It's a finsta.
Yeah!
Yeah.
I'm so hip.
Okay, I think. Do you have a second Facebook account?
No, I have one that I don't even check.
Okay,
I don't even know about it.
I think you're gonna know this
Okay.
one. Flex.
Oh yeah, flex. Like I'm gonna flex on you. Like I'm gonna show you what's up. Like you're gonna listen to me. I'm like, yeah, cool. Flex on you.
That's
pretty
close.
close.
I
That's
gotta
a give me a plus for that
Just
one.
means to show off.
Yeah, I'm gonna flex.
How can you change your voice inflection?
I don't know, because that's what you do when you flex.
Okay, what about no cap?
No cap. Oh, you know what? Actually, I heard my son and daughter talking about this. No cap. Like, no lie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Means
Boom
for
goes the
real.
dynamite. Yeah, no cap.
Yeah.
I have
For
no idea.
real, no
What's
lie.
the etymology of that? Does it say?
No, it doesn't say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like.
I still got it right, so who cares?
Yeah. Okay. What about I'm dead?
My report card just came out.
That's not wrong, but it's not the answer we're looking for.
Okay, what's I'm dead?
It means you're dying of laughter.
No.
Yeah. So like somebody tells a joke and you're like, I'm dead. It
Yeah.
means I'm dying of laughter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about the word slay?
Oh yeah, that slays me. Like I thought that's the same thing. Like that's so funny. Like that slays me.
That's how I use it.
Yeah.
But no.
Okay.
Uh,
This game show is slaying
Yeah,
me.
it says, girl, you slayed in that game. I can't believe how many points you scored.
Okay, so
it
you
means you
just,
did
like,
something
owned it,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, so right now,
I've
you have you're one out of every two. Or
Yeah.
out of every three, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Is there one that's worth bonus points?
Let's try to find. Okay.
Here we go.
Okay. This is the last. Well,
Okay.
This is the last one. If you
Okay.
get it right, we'll give you another one to
Okay.
give you a chance to tie it up.
Okay.
Okay. CD9.
C D
Like capital C, capital D, 9.
CD9.
You have no clue.
I
You're gonna get some.
I
Stands for code 9. Can't talk. My parents are here. So if they text
Yeah.
or say
CD9.
CD9, they're like, yeah, we can't talk. We're being overheard.
So, and that's where the show will end.
Okay.
I just got CD9,
Yeah, you did.
so can't talk.
Anyway,
Okay, so
You did not
phrases.
do well.
Obviously, I did not do well. I need to brush up on there. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna slay my kids for not making me aware of those.
yeah, and when you walk in their door, they're just going to be like, CD9, Dad.
Yeah. I'm gonna say no cap.
No cap.
Okay.
For real.
For real. Okay, so we're going to be looking at instead some phrases, maybe not some of the awkward ones that our kids say or our youths say, but maybe some that we have in the Bible or ones that maybe we think are in the Bible.
Yes.
Okay.
That are used out of context, misused. We're going to kind of do the mangled ones, and then we'll get into some of our favorites.
Okay. Okay, so those are some of the phrases that maybe some older folks have uttered or muttered, or maybe even some of the ones that you have, not putting you in that same classification.
A few.
And we looked at some of the youths, and so now let's look at some that either they sound like they could be in the Bible, or they're actually in the Bible, but they've been misconstrued just a little bit. So,
Yes.
So why don't you give us a shot?
Okay, so I'm just going to do some biblical ones that we use out of context.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to give it to you, and you tell me the way that we use it, and then
Okay.
I'll try to put it in
Okay.
context. Okay.
Okay.
Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name.
Oh, absolutely. Like if we have to come together, physically be there, and then the Lord's there. But if there's not at least 2 or more, then we're in trouble.
Yeah, I think a lot of times we use this one to justify having small people
Yes.
getting together. Like maybe you expected 20 and there's only 4 or 5 who show up. And then somebody knowingly says, well, where just 2 or 3 are gathered in my name.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in the context where that's found in the scriptures. That's talking about church discipline.
Yes.
It's not talking about you expected 20 and there's only 5, but God's, that's not what that's saying.
Okay.
All right.
So I have one right here.
Okay.
God helps those who help themselves. Where's that in the Bible?
Hezekiah chapter 3.
You know this. It is not in the Bible at all. But we like this. I got it upside down. We like this because we think, oh, yeah, you know, God wants us to work hard and, you know, pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. But while obedience is important and God doesn't call us to lean on a shovel and pray for a hole, it's not in there. Not in there. Okay.
All right. How about this one? Don't judge.
Don't judge. That's in there. That's going to be probably, I mean, Matthew 7, really.
Yeah.
Do not judge lest you too be judged. But I think we misdefine what judge means.
We misdefine that. And Jesus is saying, don't judge the way that the Pharisees judge.
Yeah.
Take care of your own house, the speck in your own eye or the plank in your own eye.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's plenty of other times that we are called to lovingly judge those that we're in Christian fellowship with in order to save them from sin.
Yeah.
And so, but we use it as just a blanket statement.
Yeah,
Don't judge.
Yeah. Don't judge me.
Yeah.
So, okay. Everything happens for a reason. And I really struggle with this because it is not in the Bible. And I don't even know if it's biblical to say that everything happens for a reason, like, oh, all these terrible things happen. Well, God orchestrated it this way, because I think we live in a broken world, and as a result of that, when we live around people who sin and we sin ourselves, and there's consequences. And I don't think it's like, oh, you know, this happened that way. I think we did things we shouldn't have done.
Well, it kind of reminds me of my next one, so
Okay.
I'll jump into that one, and that's Romans 8:28.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Go ahead and quote that
For
one.
God works for the good of those who loved him and who have been called according to his purpose.
Yes. And so that kind of smacks of that a little
Yes.
bit. That God works for the good of all things.
Yeah.
But we kind of leave off that next part.
Yes.
For those who love him and those who are called according to his purpose.
Yes.
God can redeem the bad things that happen, but when we love him and when we're acting in his will.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, when praises go up, blessings come down.
Wait a minute, that's a song.
That is a song. The prayers go up, then the blessings come down. Something like that. I may be a little bit off on that, but while generally speaking, I mean, we're called to praise, but God sends, you know, the rain on the righteous and the unrighteous.
That's not as catchy of a song, though.
No, it's not. But I think sometimes we try to have this equation, like not even a 1-to-1 ratio. Like if we give a little, then God is just going to like dump over and give us a bunch. And so our motivation for like giving is that I'm going to give because I know God's going to, you know, repay me tenfold.
Yeah.
That's an unhealthy, ill theological based concept.
Okay, what about this one? I'm just going to give you a hint of it, and you're going to finish this one. Jeremiah 29:11. Yeah, and I know the plans I have for you, the plans to prosper you and give you a future, and da-da-da-da-da.
Not to harm you.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we all know that one. And like, sorry, Jeremiah's prophesying that to people that are in Babylon that are going to be there as captives for decades more.
Yes.
And we take it as like, oh, I'm going to get a great job.
Yes. We usually say that as we're playing the little scratch-off games or playing the lotto ticket. So, you know. Okay.
Speaking of scratch-off
yes,
games.
Money is the root of all evil.
That's close to
Very
being in there.
close. But we forgot the love of money is the root of all evil. But if you want to believe this, that's fine. Just send all of yours to me, and I'll make sure that evil has been purged from your house. No, the love of money is the root of all evil. People who have been blessed with good fortune or wise business decisions, that doesn't mean that they're evil people. But if they make that their idol, then that is evil.
Yeah. Again, I'm just going to give you a hint. I can do
all things through Christ who gives me strength.
And that's why I've never lost an intramural church league softball game.
That's right. Philippians 4:13. That's the verse I love to hate.
It's the favorite of sports teams.
Yeah, it is on sneakers and bumper stickers and on jerseys and helmets, and I mean it is so far removed from the context of which it was uttered.
Paul is under house arrest. He has endured incredible hardships for the sake of the gospel. And he's saying that like I can endure these things, this persecution and these challenges. And we're like, hit a home run, Timmy. And it just kind of deflates it of its meaning.
He's like, I've been naked, I've been hungry, I've been homeless, I've been in prison. And he's like, but no matter what happens, I can get through every terrible circumstance because God gives me strength. It's not like I'm going to hit the home run.
Yeah.
God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. I mean, that's a lovely, lovely prayer, but it's not in the Bible. But the fact remains is that we can't change everything, and we should be at peace in a world where things don't always go our way.
Okay.
So you gave some that are in the Bible, but we kind of tweak and twist a little bit. I gave some that aren't in the Bible, but we wish were, because boy, it would make life a whole lot easier if some of those things happen. So now I think we're going to switch, and we're going to kind of flip and go to the positive.
Yes, the phrases that are in the Bible that we absolutely love. And I said this on the last podcast. The way that I think about this is, again, I don't have any ink on my body, no tattoos. But if I were to get one, what words, the last podcast and this one, phrases are like really encapsulate, that really just encourage me, that like I want hanging on a mirror, I want somewhere around me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. Important phrases that we love.
Get ready to get inked.
All right. Who's going first?
I'll go first this time because you went last time. Okay. Just absolutely love this one. It comes from Isaiah. By his wounds we are healed. Isaiah 53. And actually King James says by his stripes we are healed. And there was a group in the 80s, a rock band, Christian rock band, Stryper, that took their name from this. But to me, if I were to get something inked across my chest or forehead, I mean, this is one of those ones. By his wounds we are healed. Like he took on our infirmities, our sins, he carried them. He was pierced for our transgressions. Just a really powerful phrase to remember and to live by.
Yeah. So towards the end of Luke 15, the parable of the lost, I think we know it. There's one son who goes away. There's one son who stays. And the one who stays seems kind of bitter at the end. And I love how when the father goes out to that older brother and he tells him, my son, you are with me always, and everything I have is yours. I tell my kids that almost every day. And I change it for my daughter. I say, you're my daughter, and you're with me always, and everything I have is yours. It's just a beautiful show of grace to somebody who thinks that they don't need it.
Yes.
And they do need it. And that father's there for them and loves them. It's just one of my favorite verses.
Yes. I absolutely love this. This is and Peter.
That's good.
And Peter.
I want to quit my list now because that's so clever.
This is such a good one. And Peter, it comes from the end of Mark chapter 16. It says this, don't be alarmed. This is an angel of the Lord. He says, you're looking for Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. He is risen. He is not here. See the place where they lay him. And then verse 7, but go tell his disciples and Peter.
Yeah.
Go tell his disciples and Peter, he's going ahead of you. And Peter is just, I mean, you just can't imagine what a rough 24 hours. Actually, I can't say 24 because it was 3 days, but 72 hours that he has. And he's just beating himself up. And Jesus wants to make very clear, he sends a message through an angel that says, and don't forget to tell Peter too. Like, he's a part of this. Like, he hasn't lost out. The cock crowed, but that wasn't the end of it. And I just love the and Peter. that Jesus gives.
Okay, so I think I might have used this one for the words, but I'm going to use it for the phrases too.
Okay.
All right, so Lazarus is dead. Jesus is coming in to the city. Martha's there. She meets him. And Jesus tells her, I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die. And whoever lives by believing in me will never die. And then he asks this question, do you believe this? And it just gives me goosebumps because he knows that he is saying something that is radical, that is revolutionary, that will change your entire life. And then it's like he's pleading, like, believe this. And I just sense the passion there and the longing to make everything right.
Yes, that's a great one.
Do you believe this?
Okay, this one is from an angry mob who yells out, let his blood be on us and our children. This is Matthew chapter 27, verse 25. Pilate realizes that it is just mob mentality, and the chief priests have got them all riled up, and he sees Jesus as an innocent man. And he says, look, this guy's innocent. I don't want to have anything to do. He takes his basin of water and he washes his hands in front of them. And he says, his blood is not on my hands. And the people cry out, let Jesus' blood be on us and our children. They were calling down a curse. And what they thought was a curse turned out to be the greatest blessing of all mankind. That the blood of Jesus would fall on them and their children. And it wouldn't be of guilt, it would be for forgiveness of sins.
Yeah.
And so I love that play on words.
That's powerful. So in Matthew 3, Jesus gets down into the water and he's baptized, and his cousin John is there, and Jesus comes up and heaven opens up and there's a voice that says, this is my son whom I love, with him I am well pleased. And I just love the fact that Jesus didn't have to earn the blessings of God. That this is before he's given the Sermon on the Mount. This is before he's gone to the cross. He's lived a fairly average life to this point, and God says, that's my boy. And I just think how much different that it would be if every child grew up in that kind of home when they felt loved and they felt like they pleased their parents.
That's a good one.
Yeah, thanks.
I like that. I hadn't really thought about the fact that he said that before Jesus had done all these amazing things in obedience to his Father.
Yeah. Really it's that idea of you live out of the blessing, not to earn the blessing.
Yes. Okay, this one, can you guess the context of this one? We will worship.
Is that Daniel?
No, this is going to be a little bit before that. We will worship. Genesis 22. Abraham is about to go up, or he's kind of headed up the mountain with Isaac and with a servant. And he says, you stay with the donkey. The boy and I will go up the mountain. We will worship and we will come back. And I think that's super powerful, because then, for those of you who remember the story, what's he about to do? Like, he's going up the mountain to sacrifice his only son. And he calls that worship. Like, we think that, like, was worship good today? And then we give it a grade. Well, the sermon was short enough, or the singing, they picked out all that. That's good worship. He sees worship as a sacrifice of his own son. And I just think that's really powerful, because sometimes I think that we think worship is, what do I get out of it?
We think that it's a input, when for him it's an output. And it's not just of emotion or feeling or time. It's, here's my son.
Yes.
Here's my family. Yeah. That's a good one. All right. So this is a little bit of a cheat, because I probably based more upon the song than the actual verse. But Isaiah 43:1 says, do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You're mine. And I just love that idea of God just saying, you're mine. I've called you by name. I personally know you.
Yes. I'm just a little sad that you didn't sing that song. That's one of your favorites too.
I love that song. That song's really hard to sing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great one. Okay. At once they left their nets.
Yeah. When Jesus comes back and they're on the
boat
and
he says, come and follow me and I'll make you fishers of men. And they said at once they left their nets. Not they said, they did. At once they left their nets and they followed him. And I just think that's like a call to radical discipleship. Like the thing that they had learned, the thing that they had known. I mean, they weren't good enough to be selected by a rabbi to follow. And so this is what their life was. This is what they knew. And like most fishermen, they were probably proud of what they did, and they had their little honey holes, and they were making a living. And they said, you know, following this crazy carpenter is more important than this.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, last one for me. This is the Apostle Paul, and he writes this: "Listen, I tell you a mystery. We will not all sleep, but we will all be changed. In a flash, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. For the trumpet will sound, and the dead will be raised, and we will be changed." And so I know that's not a phrase, so if I have to shorten it down, I would just say in a flash, in the twinkling of an eye. Yeah. It's just looking forward to that day when the trumpet blast and Jesus is going to come back as reigning King and Lord, and everything is going to be set right, that every teardrop is going to be dried. And I'm excited about that day. Yeah. In a flash, in the twinkling of an eye.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, my last one. You've heard me say numerous times before. I haven't been here near as long as you, but I'm coming up on, I think, 9 years now. Man, 2020, it's been crazy. But I was like, I just remember saying, "Oh, I've been here 8 years," and now here we are at 9. Is this verse right here? Seeing she could not go unnoticed. It's in all three Gospels, but this particular phrase is only in Luke chapter 8, verse 47. It's the miracle inside the miracle. It's the greatest half story, kind of never told. It's the one that was overlooked. Jairus is the one everybody's following. But there's this bleeding woman who is unclean, and she sneaks up in the crowd and she touches Jesus, and immediately she realizes that she's freed from her infirmity, from her sickness. And so she I don't know if she stops as the crowd keeps going or she's backing out, but I mean, just that feeling of, oh, this is amazing. But then the crowd stops, and there's such a large crowd that she can't really move, and Jesus is looking around, and his disciples say, "Who touched you?" They said, "Why'd you stop?" He says, "Somebody touched me." And they literally sarcastically say, "What do you mean, who touched you?" Like, people are crowded around you. And he just stopped and waited. And Luke says, seeing she could not go unnoticed, she came and fell at his feet. And to me, that resonates with me, because I think most of us in our lifetime, we felt like we were unnoticed and we were unloved, and Jesus could have kept going and everybody else wanted to. No one would have given this woman the time. No, they didn't know her name, and Jesus stopped. And I think that's super powerful.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that.
And that's like your favorite thing to preach.
Oh, I love that story.
I actually thought that you might have just done the word daughter.
Yeah, because daughter is another one that's because he
calls her daughter in that story, right?
And
there's another daughter who's the more important daughter.
Yeah, and he listens to her whole story, and I just think it's really good. Okay, can I do an honorable mention?
Oh, I have like 5.
Okay, so you do your honorable. I only have 1, but you can just finish your one.
Well, they're kind of grouped together. Daniel 3, there's 2 of them. So the 3 men are thrown into the fire.
Oh man, that's a good one.
I know. And the king Nebuchadnezzar's like, yeah, I see a 4th, and he's like a son of the gods.
Yeah.
And so it's like they're not in there alone. Yeah. God is with them. And then they come out of the fire, and it says their robes were not scorched, and there was no smell of fire on them. And I love that idea that in life we can go through the fires, and when we come out, we don't have to smell of smoke.
Yeah.
That like we can come out clean and healed and pure, and I just love that.
Well, you could add a 3rd one, which I know you also like. Before they get thrown in, they're like, hey,
and if not,
yeah, God's going to save us, but even if he doesn't, we're still not going to bow down. And that's a really good one.
And then like the Dunkirk thing that's related to that, the great historical thing. But anyway.
Okay, mine is, and then you can go. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. Yeah. And I think that's just a reminder that bad things happen in our lives, and people hurt us, but God can still, teach us and be glorified through some of those really tough things. So you've said this before. I know other people have this, that God doesn't waste any of our tears. Like He can use tough times. And he was glorified, and that, of course, was Joseph talking to his brothers after he says, "Hey, remember, I'm your brother, the one you sold into slavery," so that's one of my favorites.
I have a couple more. We've mentioned it a couple times now. Revelation says twice that God's going to dry every tear, and I love that thought. I love the sayings of Jesus when he's on the cross. Forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. Tetelestai, I use that one on the last one as a word, but in English, it is finished.
Painful.
It is paid in full, completed. Just something I like to beat my kids up with is do everything without
grumbling or complaining.
Yes. So I don't know. That's not that moving and touching, but it's sure useful for Dad.
It can be moving and touching as you're telling them. Or you can be moving, yeah.
It's like God killed people in the desert for what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's our phrases.
Yeah.
So if you enjoyed this, or you didn't enjoy this, or you got something out of it, or you didn't get something out of it, I'd still encourage you to go back and watch the last one too. And so then you could say, you've done both parts.
Yeah. Tell us if there's a word or phrase that really touches you, that like in those moments in life that sometimes you just need those thoughts.
Yes.
Those ideas, those stories, those words. It's why it's so important to actually know your Bible.
Yes.
Because just having those loaded up, the Holy Spirit can remind you of things. And so if you have no clues to what these phrases that we were talking about, 2021 is your year to read through the Bible and to start filling your mind up with these things.
That's a great challenge. I'm glad you offer that. What we could have done is phrases that we utter in prayers that get heard over and over again.
Oh, God, guide, guard, and direct us.
God, guard, and direct us. Give us a ready recollection.
Oh, I was going to do that one. Separate and apart.
A hedge of protection.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So if you have any other phrases that were misconstrued or you thought that were in the Bible or people think are in the Bible aren't, or if you have a phrase that we missed out that's in the Bible, please type it in. We'd love to get
He's trying to say
feedback.
Join the conversation.
Yeah, join the conversation. Unless, of course, you're listening to this podcast as you're driving down the road, you can yell at your speaker or your radio, and we won't hear.
We won't hear it. Okay, we out.
Thank you for being here. You guys have a great Christmas, a Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year.
And we'll see you.
Oh, and we're not meeting on the 23rd, so you'll probably get this before then.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, so if you're like, oh, that's great, I'll be here on the 23rd, we won't.
No.
Yeah.
But we're back. But we're back to 27th.
Yes,
We are. That's a Sunday.
Okay, thank you all for being here, and I was going to say you're dismissed, but
yeah. Bye.
See ya.